Let's think for a moment about the start of a new human being, the union of two little cells. As the one cell now, as it's united, one cell gets a little bigger and divides into two. Divides into 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, just keeps multiplying. And then when it looks like a little mulberry, somehow it knows to change. Remember, they all started out from one cell. They should all be the same, shouldn't they? And yet now, certain of the cells begin to change, and this little mulberry-looking mass gets a dent along one side that the scientist calls the primitive streak. That primitive streak is going to become the first organ of the human body. That the first organ to develop is always the brain and the spinal cord. The brain and the spinal cord are the first to form because they're the master control system of the body that will regulate and control the function of every other system from then on. But then, as though around an invisible skeleton, with no doctors around to tell it what to do, no scientists, no PhDs, no surgeons, no pediatricians, this little speck of light knows how to form a perfect human being. And in 280 days, nature has done her job, and a perfect being is born. Every organ gets its nerve supply through the spine, and that's fine as long as the spine is in its proper position. We take so much for granted, sometimes we forget the beauty of nature's structure. If something should happen to your spine, if one of those bones should become misaligned, twisted out of place, even minutely, that's what a chiropractor calls a subluxation. Let's see the damage that can do.
Hi, my name is Zanari, and I'm 8 years old, and I'm in 4th grade. I've been having headaches every day, and seizures. I was coughing for like an hour and a half straight, and it wouldn't stop, so I drank water, and I started coughing it up because I was coughing so hard. So I started throwing up everything that I started to drink and eat.
Camille was diagnosed with autism at age 3.
I had hurt my back several years ago.
See, Charlie was born with a rare disease.
He has tuberous sclerosis, which is tumors in his brain, his heart, and his kidneys.
Is the question of what kind of diseases can chiropractors cure? Do you remember when you first came into a chiropractor's office, or the first time you heard about chiropractic, you thought, well, maybe they're all right for backaches or stiff necks, and then people start telling you strange things. Somebody says, well, I took my daughter to the chiropractor and he cured her menstrual cramps. And somebody else comes along and says, I had psoriasis for 17 years and it cleared up under chiropractic care. And somebody else said, yes, well, he cured my gallstones. Somebody says he cured my diabetes, heart disease, multiple sclerosis, migraine headaches, chronic constipation, ulcers, indigestion. If you sit there long enough and listen to some of these claims, you will suspect that chiropractors are claiming they can cure everything from leprosy to ingrown toenails.
There was research done at the University of Pennsylvania in 1924 by a Dr. Henry, chief pathologist, who examined some 11,000 diseased organs to find relationships between the diseased organ and the segmental level of spinal distortion related to that organ. He found direct correlation between spinal damage and diseased organs in all except 8 out of 11,000, written up in Medical Times magazine in 1924. Let me continue. You want to know where my research is? That's part of it. The University of Colorado has for the past 3 years been doing research which has proven conclusively that vertebral subluxation damages nerves with a resultant damage to the organs at the end of those nerves. It was done in the Cleveland College of Chiropractic in Kansas City, Missouri 20 years ago, in which experiments were done on rabbits, causing deliberately surgical subluxations on rabbits and following the disease process which resulted, then correcting the subluxations and watching the rabbits heal. This information, this research is so well documented, any physician who is the least bit interested could track it down and find it.
Well, how come the American Medical Association hasn't tracked it down? Or accepted it? Or accepted
simply
Jack?
Because they're out to sell a product.
Jack.
Their product is medicine.
Jack.
Since we came here, all of it was gone. We never had headaches anymore.
You never have headaches anymore, and the seizures are less.
And the seizures are less.
You came to see Dr. Jeremy. He took care of you. He gave you some adjustments, and what happened?
I got higher on my pain flow meter.
How high?
To 200.
A little bit over 200, which is right where you should be. She's in the green zone after one adjustment.
Walking taller, feeling a lot better. My sinuses actually, my allergies this year have been actually a lot better. Actually, they're, you know, I'm like everybody else with seasonal allergies. I've suffered, but for some reason this year they've been a lot better. I think it has a lot to do with you know, getting adjusted.
Now, after treatment, what we're excited about and so pleased is Camille's vocabulary has picked up quite a bit. It seems like a light bulb is going off in her head that she's picking up and understanding what's going on around her. I feel like she's a part of what's happening around the world today.
Instantly, he's never slept a full night since we had gotten him the first 5 years. And when he came here, that night was the first night he slept.
What kind of diseases can they really cure? I thought I'd like to answer that tonight. But the answer is very simple. No chiropractor anywhere ever cured anything. Chiropractors can't cure disease. And medical doctors can't cure disease. Anything that is ever cured is cured by the living body, not by doctors. We're in such a rush to give credit where it isn't due. All the scientists in the world put together couldn't heal a blade of grass. And yet your living body, as you sit here right now, is making living flesh and blood out of the food you had for lunch today. What I want to do tonight is totally destroy your faith in doctors of all kinds, because not one of them can cure anything. I want to give you some confidence through common sense, through knowledge of this great, fantastic body of yours. You are the doctor. Built into you is all of the wisdom of nature, and that wisdom that the chiropractor calls the innate intelligence of life knows all there is to know about healing. No doctor can cure anything. You and you alone can heal. In fact, if your body were working right, you wouldn't have got sick in the first place.
I have been here since a long time. And every time I get adjusted, I feel really, really good. Because I have been in a chair, and as you know, we do a lot of tumbling, and it really hurts because I come home from practice, and it hurts because I've been tumbling, putting so much pressure onto my back.
My question is, my statement is directed to Dr. Terry Runberg.
Yes.
And I was in an accident with my daughter about 2 months ago, and I went to a regular MD, and I had an X-ray taken, and nothing really showed up. So I went to work about 2 days later, and my back hurt me so bad I had to sit down. So finally I went home. So I went with my daughter over to Dr. Terry Runberg, where his associate, Dr. Charles Wallace, you know, I worked on the back of my neck and my nerves, and I've been going there ever since for the last 2 months. And my back has just been wonderful this
Okay,
whole
what was
time.
the question to him?
Pardon me?
You had a question. What was the question?
Oh, I know, it was just a statement.
Okay, wait. Let's discourage testimonials. I don't care.
After all those years of her being so healthy, you take for granted kind of what's going on and what's really behind that. And when I was in the hospital for those days with her, you start retracing, well, what's changed? Why all of a sudden is she a typical CF case when before she wasn't? The only thing that had changed in our circumstances was that she was no longer getting adjusted on a regular basis.
Well, the technique we use is called chiropractic biophysics, and it's a posture corrective technique.
And it was 24 hours with no seizure.
Now, we visually make eye contact.
And Charlie's walking.
When did you first go to the chiropractor?
When I was about 14,
About 14?
Mother took me, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah, so how old are you now?
I'm 90.
So apparently the wisdom that created this body, that which the chiropractor calls the innate intelligence, the inborn wisdom of life, it's still there even after you're born. And it regulates your growth all the way until you're fully grown. But now when you're fully grown, can we now assume that nature quit? Now it's time for doctors? The wisdom that created your body is still there. In fact, if you understand this next part, you'll understand everything there is to know about health and healing.
90?
Yes. Yep, and I'll be 91 May the 24th.
That's awesome.
I know it, and I'm still living.
I said earlier that in order for your body to be healthy, the 25 to 30 quadrillion cells must be doing their job. That there are highly specialized cells, and if they're not doing their job, then the job won't get done. I also said that this body, when it's working right, can last 120 to 150 years. That apparently is nature's scheme of things for human beings.
But organized medicine for years has conducted a campaign of self-serving propaganda to say, don't go to a chiropractor. God forbid chiropractors should help people. That'll make the physicians look bad.
I think that what's happening right now is that people are seeking an answer. For so many years, we have used traditional medicine as the only way to help our symptoms, to manage our healthcare problems. But the problem is suppressing our symptoms or managing our symptoms are not relieving the problem. So right now, as you stated, 20% projected growth by the Department of Labor Statistics in chiropractic, and that is because the demand for chiropractors is growing so much and we don't have enough chiropractors out there. But also, we know that 40% of hospitals have hired chiropractors and also other wellness providers to better serve their patients.
Just as many parents take their children to the dentist for regular checkups, more and more are also taking them to a chiropractor to check out their spinal development.
I'm the only one in my family living.
Take it for granted. You think, oh, we're coming and everybody's fine and everybody's healthy, why should we keep coming? Well, it takes a while, but the body does then lose what it had gained. Critical it is to keep going even when the symptoms do disappear. That's the continual care is what's keeping them under control.
Well, it's so fulfilling, number one, because you're dealing with the health of individuals.
Right.
When you support somebody's health, you're supporting their quality of life. But also financially, Forbes have said that chiropractic is 1 out of the 10 most profitable careers to get into.
You know more about chiropractic history than I do.
I'm blessed to have you.
There.
I'll tell you.
Well, I'm blessed and honored to be your chiropractor.